Mr. Robinson, if reelected, is there anything you're going to do differently or better represent Precinct 4?
Be more aggressive as far as seeking more funding for the areas. We've applied for a number of grants to address the issues that Mr. Carter, where he lives, that he has not paid any attention to. We've applied for grants. We got some that's already pending. In fact, this week we have another ribbon cutting where we're going to provide sidewalks to some of the areas where the kids don't have sidewalks, the clear paths or safe passage going to school. So we had things of that nature where I have addressed those issues. Now, to say I want to make sure that we those things come to fruition. I have them on the books. I have them on the agenda. We've applied for grants. We have a plan to fix them. It takes money. You're talking about millions of dollars, but we do have those things on the radar screen that was not taken care of in the past. So when you talk about my attendance, again, I do attend meetings. Critical issues, I have not missed any critical issues that was put on the agenda, particularly for our area. In fact, what I'm talking about now is that those areas that have been deficient have not been taken care of in the last 20 years. I have not lived there for 20 years. Now, when we go back to the flooding, when the call was made that the area got flooded, I was the only elected official or the only person that had an interest, that took an interest, to go come from northeast El Paso, come across the mountain to address the issue and tour the area to identify the problems.
Got it. Ms. Byrd, if elected, what do you think is the biggest concern in your precinct?
I think right now the biggest concern is taxes. I believe that health is also a problem. You know, a lot of people want to say, oh, I don't want my taxes raised. Of course, that's where the difference is of different funding, different grants will keep our taxes lower. And I think a health issue for the simple fact that we're still in a pandemic and we need to make sure that the clinics and the hospital and every area where we can provide to have the vaccine, to have the testing done. I think those are the two main things, and also to bring jobs here. We need to make sure we keep our people here employed. And I want to address one issue that was just stated about how all the only missing one meeting. I just don't understand if a person missed one meeting, is that one meeting in the month or the whole time? I don't know what his timeline is as far as saying what meeting. And also, when you're in a meeting and you're not engaged in the meeting, there is an issue there. When you are in a meeting and you have to leave a meeting and come back, there are different things that are on the agenda that is not being voted for. So that's how come I said I'm tired of my vote and others in our precinct going to an empty chair, because if you're not there to vote, then you have given our vote away.
Got it. What do you believe, Mr. Coronado, is the biggest concern, and if elected, you would obviously address?
Well, I think there's a lot of concerns in this county, but it's going to take a lot of funding. Right now, we've got a very good opportunity to tap into the infrastructure funding that's coming down. We also need to make sure that the state gives us adequate funding to try and solve some of these issues, especially the flooding issue. And, you know, we need obviously quality of life, and with that respect goes economic development. One of the things that I'm proposing to do is what's called the El Paso Promise. It's a program fashioned after what was done in Dallas County called the Dallas Promise. And that is, we want to make sure that individuals who have not gotten a high school education, have not completed their high school education, or have not pursued a career or certification in community college, we want to get free community college basically to them and eliminate all obstacles for these individuals, so that rather than they get into the criminal justice system or something else, that we need to make sure that they have a good paying job. You know, 1 out of 25% of our population here in El Paso County is still below the poverty level. That's unacceptable. What I plan to do with this is make sure that we get these individuals into getting an education, certification, getting them credentials, getting a trained workforce so that we can attract industry. And I'm going to make sure that we involve not just the county government, but all local governments involved in getting this done, as well as the private entities, work with the Texas Workforce Commission to see where those jobs are in the future for this region, that we need to make sure that we have a trained workforce for that. I want to do that for El Paso. Also, we need to maintain and invest in our parks. Obviously, safety is a big concern for me, especially now. It's not a pandemic anymore, it's an endemic, so we need to make sure our facilities are, make sure that they have standards up to make sure that we have these safety issues in mind.
What I want to do now is I want to provide each candidate 30 seconds to provide a closing statement on why they believe they are the best candidate for Precinct 4. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Coronado. 30 seconds,
I
please.
feel that it is high time that we start focusing on the quality of the individuals that we elect to serve in office. We need to make sure that they're highly qualified, that they're going to be engaged, and that they're committed. I am highly qualified, I'm going to be engaged, and I am committed to doing this. And like I said, I've got a track record as a public official, unpaid at that. I can count on one hand the number of times that I've missed meetings in 15 years of service of the Canutillo Independent School District. I want to make sure that we have our quality of life raised, and it's high time we do that. I want to do that for the citizens of El Paso, and I humbly ask them for their support and their vote. Thank you very much.
Ms. Byrd.
The reason why as my closing statement, I would like to say that because of my commitment to El Paso, to the community, in 2019, I went into 3 Hall of Fames. I've been a precinct chair since 2010. I have only missed a meeting January the 14th, 2021, all those years because of the weather for that day. I am committed to our community. I have the drive to do it. And therefore, I believe that I am the best candidate because no matter what, I will be committed full-time to being in our community, to represent our community. So therefore, I hope I get your vote because I am no different than you, and therefore, I would like to represent you. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Robinson, 30 seconds.
To my commitment, I was committed for 25 years as a soldier in the United States Army, a highly decorated combat veteran. I committed for 8 years on city council with experience and knowledge that I've attained through that process. I got 3 years of experience, going on 4 as a county commissioner. So you tell my commitment, I've been committed to this community since I arrived. For the last 30 years, I provide services, provide assistance to families throughout El Paso County that otherwise would not need us. For example, every year during Thanksgiving and Christmas, we provide food baskets for needy families.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Robinson, Ms. Byrd, Mr. Coronado.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.